At Christmas dinner, Mom told my kids I wasn't their real dad because they're adopted and they shouldn't be here. Said it right in front of them. So I gave her a reality check when she failed to pay her rent, and now suddenly she wants to meet her grandchildren. Hey Reddit, I'm 35 male, and I've got two incredible kids, Emma who's 9 and Liam who's 7, both adopted. My mom just torched every bridge between us at Christmas dinner by telling my kids to their faces that I'm not their real dad, and they shouldn't even be at our family gathering. Then, when karma caught up with her and she couldn't pay her rent, suddenly I'm supposed to bail her out. And oh look, now she desperately wants to meet her grandchildren. Yeah, that's not happening. Let me paint the full picture here because the backstory matters. I adopted Emma when she was 3 and Liam when he was 2. Both came through the foster system after some genuinely heartbreaking situations I won't get into because it's their story to tell when they're older, not mine. What I will say is that from the moment they came into my life, they became my whole world. Not like my kids, or basically my kids. They are my kids. Period. Full stop. End of discussion. The adoption process was brutal. Mountains of paperwork, home visits, interviews, background checks, parenting classes, financial audits, all of it. I had to prove I was stable enough, responsible enough, and committed enough to be their dad. Took almost 2 years to finalize everything. 2 years of uncertainty, court dates, sleepless nights worrying that something would fall through. But we made it. The day those adoption papers were signed was the best day of my life. Hands down. My ex-wife Sarah and I had been trying to have kids for years before we started the adoption process. Fertility treatments, specialists, the whole nightmare. Nothing worked. We poured thousands into it, went through the emotional roller coaster of hope and disappointment month after month. Eventually, we realized that having biological kids just wasn't in the cards for us. And honestly, once we let go of that expectation and started the adoption journey, everything clicked into place. Sarah and I split about 2 years ago. Not because of the kids. They're amazing and we both love them to death. We just grew apart, wanted different things in life. The usual story. We have joint custody that works really well. She's got them every other week, I've got them the alternating weeks, and we coordinate everything like adults. The kids adjusted beautifully because we prioritize their stability over our own drama. Sarah's actually remarried now to a great guy named Tom, and the kids love him too. No jealousy, no weirdness. Just more people loving my kids, which is exactly what they deserve. Now here's where my mom comes into this disaster. From day one, she had a problem with the adoption. Not openly, of course. She's way too image conscious for that. She'd never come out and say, I don't think you should adopt, because that would make her look like a terrible person. Instead, she did the passive-aggressive thing, where she'd make little comments that sounded like concerns, but were really just her disapproval wrapped in fake worry. Are you sure you're ready for this? Kids are a lot of work. What if they have behavioral problems? Foster kids often do, you know. Don't you think you should wait and see if Sarah gets pregnant naturally? Miracles happen. This is such a huge commitment. You're so young. Maybe focus on your career first. Every single conversation was peppered with these little grenades designed to make me second-guess everything. When I called her out on it, she'd act shocked and hurt. I'm just trying to look out for you, honey. I'm your mother. I'm allowed to have concerns. Classic manipulation. Make it about her worry rather than her judgment. The day I told her the adoptions were finalized, you know what she said? Well, I hope you know what you're getting yourself into. Not congratulations. Not, I'm so happy for you. Just doubt and disapproval disguised as concern. I should have seen the warning signs right there, but I kept hoping she'd come around once she met the kids. She didn't. Oh, she played nice when other people were around. Family gatherings, she'd smile for photos, give the kids little gifts at Christmas and birthdays, act like doting grandma when witnesses were present. But in private, ice cold. She never called to check on them, never asked how they were doing in school, never wanted to FaceTime them when I called her. Every conversation somehow always circled back to her problems, her opinions, her life. Meanwhile, my dad passed away when I was in college, and my younger brother Dylan, golden child extraordinaire, has been her whole world ever since. Dylan's 32, never been married, no kids, works in finance making stupid money, and can do absolutely no wrong in mom's eyes. He's successful, he's handsome, he's charming, he's perfect. I'm just the older son who made the questionable choice to adopt. Every family event became this uncomfortable tension where mom would fawn over Dylan and barely acknowledge my kids. She'd ask Dylan about his latest vacation, his new car, his investment portfolio. Then she'd glance at Emma and Liam like they were furniture that happened to be in the room. The kids noticed. Of course they noticed. Kids always know when someone doesn't want them around. Emma asked me once about a year ago, "Why doesn't Grandma ever talk to us?" I gave her some nonsense excuse about how Grandma's just quiet and not great with kids. But the truth was harder to say out loud, that my mom fundamentally didn't see them as her grandchildren because they didn't share her DNA. Fast forward to this Christmas. My mom hosts Christmas dinner every year at her house. Big production, decorations everywhere, fancy meal, the whole traditional family gathering thing. She takes pride in it. It's her moment to play matriarch and have everyone praise her hosting skills and admire her picture-perfect holiday setup. Sarah had the kids this year for Christmas morning, so I picked them up around noon, and we headed to Mom's house for the 3 p.m. dinner. We walked in with the gifts we'd brought, the kids excited because, despite everything, they still tried to have a good relationship with their grandma. Emma had made her a handmade card, one of those construction paper things with glitter and stickers that kids spend hours on. Liam had wrapped a ceramic picture frame he'd painted in art class with "Best Grandma" written on it in his wobbly 7-year-old handwriting. These kids, despite being treated like afterthoughts, still wanted to make their grandma happy. We arrive, and immediately I can tell something's off. Mom's giving me this tight smile, the kind she does when she's annoyed but trying to hide it. Dylan's already there with his new girlfriend Madison, some aspiring influencer who looks like she wandered off an Instagram ad. They're sitting on the couch, drinking some fancy imported sparkling cider Mom had bought special just for them, looking like a magazine spread for successful young couple at the holidays. "Oh, you're here," Mom says when we walk in. Not "Merry Christmas" or "So glad you could make it." Just "Oh, you're here," like we were the neighbors who showed up uninvited. The kids, bless them, run up with their gifts. "Merry Christmas, Grandma. We made you presents." Mom takes the card and frame, glances at them for approximately 2 seconds, and sets them on the side table without comment. No thank you, no "these are beautiful," no acknowledgement whatsoever of the time and love these kids put into those gifts. Just sets them aside like junk mail. Emma's face falls. I see it happen. That moment when a kid realizes their effort meant nothing. Liam looks confused, glancing at me like, "Did we do something wrong?" "Thanks, kids," I say loudly, picking up where my mom's basic human decency should have kicked in. "Those are amazing gifts. Grandma's going to love displaying that frame." I shoot my mom a look that says, "Fix this now," but she just busies herself in the kitchen. Dinner starts and it's uncomfortable as hell. Mom's fussing over Dylan and Madison, asking about their holiday plans. Turns out they're going to Aspen for New Year's. How fancy. And laughing at Madison's stories about her latest photo shoot. She's serving them the best cuts of ham, making sure their glasses stay filled. Playing the perfect hostess. Meanwhile, she's barely spoken 5 words to me or the kids. Emma and Liam are sitting there, quietly eating, trying not to draw attention to themselves because they can feel they're not wanted. It's breaking my heart watching them shrink themselves to accommodate someone else's rudeness. I try to steer conversation toward the kids a few times. Emma got all A's on her report card this semester. Mom nods vaguely, then immediately turns back to Dylan to ask about his latest work project. Liam's soccer team made it to the championship game. Another vague nod, 0 follow-up questions, then right back to Madison's social media follower count. About halfway through dinner, Dylan starts talking about some skiing trip he's planning. Mom's practically glowing with pride, talking about how adventurous he is, how successful he is, how proud she is of all his accomplishments. Then, and this is where things start going south, she looks at me with this saccharine smile and says, "You know, Dylan's really living life to the fullest. Don't you sometimes wish you had that freedom?" There it is. The subtle dig, implying that having kids, my kids, is some kind of burden that's preventing me from living. I have everything I want, I say evenly. These two are my freedom, my life, my whole world. She does this little dismissive wave. "Oh, I'm sure you love them, but don't you ever wonder what your life would have been like if you'd made different choices?" Emma and Liam are right there, hearing every word. I can see Liam's lips starting to tremble. Emma's staring at her plate. "Mom, let's not do this," I say quietly. But Dylan, because he's never met a moment he couldn't make worse, jumps in. "I mean, she has a point. You were on track for that big promotion before you adopted. Now you're stuck in middle management. Don't you think about what could have been?" "Dylan, shut up," I snap. The kids flinch. I never raise my voice around them, so they know things are getting serious. "I'm just saying," Dylan continues, "because apparently the privilege of being the golden child includes not knowing when to stop talking. There are consequences to these kinds of decisions. You gave up a lot." I didn't give up anything, I say, voice getting harder. I gained everything. Mom sighs, like I'm being difficult. Let's just all calm down and enjoy dinner. But I can see she's not done. She's got that look, the one that means she's been stewing on something, and now she's going to let it out because she's decided she's justified. She's been sitting on whatever this is all through the meal, and now it's bubbling over. Can I ask you something? Mom says, looking directly at me. Why do you insist on bringing them to family events? The room goes silent. Even Dylan looks uncomfortable now. What? I say, not sure I heard her correctly. Emma and Liam. She says their names like they're inconvenient facts she has to acknowledge. Why do you keep bringing them to family gatherings? They're not really part of the family. My blood goes cold. Emma gasps softly. Liam's eyes fill with tears. Excuse me? I manage to get out. Oh, don't make that face, Mom says, like I'm being unreasonable. I'm not being cruel. I'm being realistic. You're not their real father. They have real parents somewhere. You're just, what do they call it? A guardian? This isn't their real family. This is our family. Blood family. They shouldn't be here. She said this at Christmas dinner in front of my children. She looked at my 9-year-old daughter and my 7-year-old son and told them they weren't real family and didn't belong. Emma starts crying silently, tears rolling down her face. Liam's bottom lip is quivering so hard his whole chin shakes. Madison looks horrified. Even Dylan has the decency to look uncomfortable. I stand up so fast my chair scrapes loudly across the floor. Kids, go get your coats. We're leaving. Oh, don't be so dramatic, Mom says, still acting like she's the rational one here. I'm just being honest. You're so sensitive about this adoption thing. They needed to hear the truth eventually. The truth? I'm shaking with rage now. You want to talk about truth? Here's the truth. Those 2 kids are more my family than you've ever been. They're my children. I'm their father. Real, actual, legal, permanent father. And you just showed me exactly who you are. I raised you, she snaps, finally dropping the sweet act. I'm your mother. You don't talk to me like that. You were my mother, I correct her. Past tense, because what you just did to those kids is unforgivable. I gather Emma and Liam, who are both crying now, and head for the door. Emma's sobbing into my jacket. Liam's holding onto my hand so tight it hurts. As we're leaving, I hear my mom call out, "You'll regret this! You're throwing away your family over some random children." I turn around one last time. No, I'm choosing my real family. The one I built, the one that matters. Enjoy your Christmas. We left. I loaded the kids into the car while they cried. Drove home in silence because I didn't trust myself to talk without breaking down. Got them inside, sat them both on the couch, and said the words I should have said years ago. Listen to me, both of you. What Grandma said was wrong. Completely, totally wrong. You are my real children. I am your real dad. We are a real family. Nothing she said changes that. Nothing anyone says will ever change that. Do you understand? Emma nodded, still crying. But she said something cruel because she's a cruel person, I interrupted. But that doesn't make it true. You know how sometimes people say mean things because they're hurting inside? That's what happened. But her being mean doesn't change who we are. Do you wish we weren't here? Liam asked in the smallest voice I've ever heard. Never, I said immediately. Not even for 1 second. You two are the best thing that ever happened to me. The absolute best. I would choose you 1,000 times over. Every single time. You're my kids. My real kids. The only kids I want. We spent the rest of Christmas at home. Just the 3 of us. Made cookies, watched movies, played games. I called Sarah and explained what happened. She was livid, wanted to drive over and yell at my mom herself. But I told her the best thing she could do was just be there for the kids when they went back to her place. The kids eventually calmed down, but I could see it affected them. Emma got quieter. Liam started having nightmares. They started asking questions about their biological parents, about whether I really wanted them, about whether other people saw them as real family. It broke something in them, and I hate my mother for it. I blocked my mom's number, blocked Dylan's too. I wanted nothing to do with either of them. 3 days later, I get a text from a number I don't recognize. It's Dylan, texting from a different phone. Mom's really upset. You need to apologize. I don't respond. Another text. You're being childish. She was just being honest. Still don't respond. Another one. The kids needed to know eventually. You're living in a fantasy world. I block that number too. Then Madison, yes, Dylan's girlfriend, starts messaging me on Facebook. I think what your mom said was harsh, but she came from a place of love. Maybe you should talk to her? Block for 2 months, radio silence. I don't reach out. They don't reach out. The kids slowly start healing. Therapy would have helped, but we handled it as a family, talking through their feelings, reassuring them constantly, showing them through actions that they're valued and loved. Sarah was incredible through all of this. She and Tom had the kids extra some weeks to give them consistency and stability. We all sat down together, me, Sarah, Tom, and the kids, and had a long talk about family and what it means and how blood doesn't determine worth. Tom shared his own story about being adopted as a kid and how his adoptive parents were his real parents in every way that mattered. It helped. Then March rolls around and I get a voicemail from my mom. Hi, honey. I know we haven't talked in a while, but I really need to speak with you. It's urgent. Please call me back. I delete it. Another voicemail the next day. This is serious. I really need your help. Please call. Delete. Then Dylan calls. I don't answer, but he leaves a voicemail too. Dude, mom's in trouble. She needs money. I can't help her right now because my portfolio's tied up. You need to step up. I laugh out loud listening to this. She needs money? Now she wants something from me? I do some digging. Nothing intense, just some casual questions to extended family members who still talk to me. Turns out my mom has been living way beyond her means for years. The big house, mortgage to the hilt, the fancy car, leased at a payment she can barely afford. She's been keeping up appearances while drowning in debt, and it finally caught up with her. She's 3 months behind on rent. Yes, rent. She sold the house last year and has been renting a place while pretending to everyone she still owns it, and is facing eviction. Her landlord's done playing games and has started the legal process to kick her out. A week later, my mom shows up at my house. Just appears on my doorstep on a Saturday morning when the kids are with Sarah. I open the door and she's standing there looking rough. Not her usual pulled together self. Hair not quite right, makeup less perfect, clothes a bit wrinkled. Like the facade is cracking. We need to talk, she says. No, we don't, I reply, and start closing the door. She stops it with her hand. Please, just 5 minutes. Against my better judgment, I let her in. We sit in my living room, and she launches into this whole speech about how she's in financial trouble, how she needs help, how I'm her son, and family helps family. The irony is so thick, you could cut it with a knife. I need to borrow some money, she finally says, just until I get back on my feet. How much? 20,000 should cover it. I actually laugh. $20,000. I know it's a lot, but I'm desperate. I'm going to lose my apartment. I'll be homeless. Where's Dylan? Thought he was so successful? His money's all invested. He can't liquidate right now without massive penalties. Translation, he said no. She doesn't deny it. You have savings. I know you do. You always were good with money. That money is for my kids' college funds and emergencies? This is an emergency. For you, not for me. She stares at me like I've grown a second head. I'm your mother. And Emma and Liam are my children. The ones you told weren't real family. The ones you said shouldn't be at family gatherings. The ones you made cry at Christmas. Those children. I didn't mean it the way it sounded. Yes, you did. You meant every word. I was just overwhelmed. The holidays stressed me out. I said things I shouldn't have. You told my children they weren't part of the family. To their faces. At Christmas. There's no way to spin that. She shifts tactics, trying tears. Please, I know I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I'll apologize to them. Just please help me. You want to apologize to them? The grandchildren you don't think are real? They are my grandchildren, she says desperately. I see that now. I was wrong. I want to be part of their lives. I want to make this right. And there it is. The real reason she's here. Not because she actually had an epiphany about family, not because she genuinely feels bad, but because she needs something, and she's willing to pretend to care about my kids to get it. Interesting timing, I say. 4 months ago, they weren't your grandchildren. Now that you need money, suddenly they are. That's not... I've been thinking about this for months. I've wanted to reach out, but you didn't. Not until you needed something. I'm telling you, I want to fix things. I want to meet them properly. Be a real grandmother. Isn't that what you wanted? What I wanted was for you to love my children unconditionally from day one. What I wanted was for you to treat them like the incredible kids they are. What I wanted was for you to not destroy them with your cruelty. But we don't always get what we want, do we? So you're just going to let me become homeless? I'm going to do exactly what you did to my kids. Treat you like you're not really family. That's different. How? I gave birth to you. I raised you. You owe me. And there's the truth. She doesn't see me as a person. She sees me as an obligation. A piggy bank she can shake when needed. I owe you nothing, I say calmly. You had 18 years to be a good parent. You did the bare minimum. Fed me, clothed me, kept a roof over my head. Congratulations, you did what you were legally required to do. But being a parent is more than just meeting basic needs. It's about love, support, acceptance, kindness. Things you never showed my children. I'm your mother. Biologically, sure, but family isn't about biology. You taught me that when you rejected my kids for not sharing your DNA. So now I'm applying your own logic back to you. You're not my real mother. You're just the woman who happened to give birth to me. My real family is Emma and Liam and Sarah and Tom. The people who show up. The people who care. The people who love unconditionally. You're being cruel. I'm being realistic. That's what you said at Christmas, remember? You were just being realistic. She sits there, tears running down her face now. And I feel nothing. No guilt, no sympathy, no urge to save her. Just cold, clear certainty that I'm doing the right thing. I'll give you the same chance you gave my kids, I finally say. None, please. But I'll tell you what I will do. I'll give you a choice. You can leave right now, never contact me or my children again, and figure out your financial mess yourself. Or you can genuinely apologize to Emma and Liam, a real apology in person, taking full responsibility for what you said. And then we'll see about helping you. Not with money, but with actually finding solutions. Budgeting, job hunting, negotiating with your landlord, whatever. That's it? An apology, and you'll give me $20,000? I never said I'd give you $20,000. I said I'd help you find solutions, which might include a small loan, maybe 2 or 3,000 if I see you're genuinely trying to change. But 20,000? That's not happening. That's not enough. Then I guess you're choosing option 1. She stares at me in disbelief. You're really going to let me suffer? You let my children suffer. You looked them in the eye and told them they weren't real. You damaged them in ways I'm still trying to fix. Did you think about their suffering then? Silence. Here's the thing about consequences, I continue. You spent your whole life believing you were immune to them, that you could say whatever you wanted, do whatever you wanted, treat people however you wanted, and someone would always be there to bail you out. Dad bailed you out. Then Dylan. Then you thought I would. But actions have consequences, and it's time you learned that. So this is revenge? No. This is boundaries. This is self-respect. This is protecting my children from someone who's proven she'll hurt them. I want to see them. I want to apologize. Not yet. First, I need to see that you mean it. I need to see you actually taking responsibility for your actions, not just making empty promises because you need money. How do I prove that? Get a job. Any job. Show me you're willing to work to fix your own problems instead of expecting handouts. Get your finances organized. Talk to your landlord about a payment plan. Show me you're taking this seriously. Then maybe, we can talk about you apologizing to the kids. I can't get a job that fast. I'm going to be evicted. Then you should have thought about that before you decided to live beyond your means. Or before you decided to alienate the one son who might have been willing to help you. She stands up, furious now. You're just like your father. Cold and unforgiving. Funny, I remember Dad being the one who always bailed you out of your messes. Maybe if someone had been cold and unforgiving with you 30 years ago, you would have learned to take care of yourself. She leaves, slamming my door hard enough to rattle the frame. I watch through the window as she gets in her leased luxury car, the one she can't afford, and peels out of my driveway. I call Sarah immediately and explain what happened. She agrees with my decision completely. The kids don't need someone in their life who only values them when it's convenient, she says. You did the right thing. 2 weeks later, my mom calls again. Different tone this time. Defeated. I got evicted, she says. I'm staying with a friend temporarily. I wanted to let you know. Okay. That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say? I thought maybe you'd changed your mind. Have you gotten a job? I've been applying places. It's hard at my age. Welcome to reality. Most people have to work their whole lives. You're not special. I know you're angry with me. I'm not angry. I'm disappointed. There's a difference. Angry would mean I still had expectations for you. Disappointed means I've accepted who you are. I want to see Emma and Liam. Please, I'll apologize. I'll do whatever you want. Do you actually want to see them? Or do you want to manipulate me into helping you? Long pause. Both, she admits quietly. I need help. But I've been thinking about what you said. About consequences. You were right. I've spent my whole life avoiding them. And maybe I was wrong about the kids. Maybe I was wrong, she corrects herself. I was wrong about them. What I said was horrible. I see that now. What changed? I've been sitting in my friend's spare room, looking at Facebook pictures of Dylan and Madison on vacation while I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to live next week. And I realized Dylan doesn't care about me. Not really. He cares about his image, about looking successful, about having the cool mom who doesn't cramp his style. But you cared. Past tense. And I threw that away over my own stupidity and prejudice. That's probably the most honest thing you've said to me in years. I'm sorry, she says, and for the first time, she actually sounds like she means it. Not just for what I said at Christmas, though that was unforgivable. For all of it. For never accepting Emma and Liam. For playing favorites with Dylan. For taking you for granted. For being a shallow, materialistic person who valued appearances over people. I'm sorry. I sit with that for a moment. Part of me wants to believe her. Part of me knows this could just be desperation talking. Here's what's going to happen, I finally say. You're going to get a job. I don't care if it's fast food, retail, cleaning houses, whatever. You're going to work, save money, and figure out how to support yourself. You're going to sell that car you can't afford and get something reasonable. You're going to downsize every aspect of your life to match your actual means. And you're going to do all of this without my help or my money. I can do that. I'm not done. Once you have a stable job and stable housing that you're paying for yourself, not living with friends, not couch surfing, actual housing you can afford, then we can talk about you meeting the kids again, but not before. And when that time comes, you're going to give them the most sincere apology of your life, and then you're going to prove through consistent actions over months, maybe years, that you've actually changed. That's fair, she says quietly. And if at any point you revert to your old behavior, if you say one negative thing about them or their adoption, if you show even a hint of that prejudice again, you're gone. Permanently. No second chances. Do you understand? Yes. One more thing. Dylan isn't welcome around my kids. Not after he backed you up at Christmas. He made his choice. He's your brother. He was my brother. Now he's just a guy I used to know who shares some DNA with me. See how that works? Turns out blood doesn't mean anything when respect and love aren't there. She's quiet for a long time. I understand. Good. Now go figure out your life. When you've done what I asked, call me. That was 6 weeks ago. My mom got a job at a local grocery store, working as a cashier. She posts about it sometimes on Facebook. Not glamorous posts, just check-ins from work, pictures in her uniform. She sold the leased car and bought a 10-year-old Honda Civic. She moved into a small one-bedroom apartment in a less expensive part of town. Every couple weeks, she sends me an update text. Just facts. Paid rent on time, got a small raise, working extra shifts. No manipulation, no requests for money, no guilt trips, just accountability. Sarah asked me if I think she's really changed or if she's just doing what she needs to do to get access to the kids again. Honest answer? I don't know yet. Maybe both. Maybe she's going through the motions and somewhere along the way she'll realize why it matters. Maybe she's genuinely having an awakening. Time will tell. What I do know is this. My kids are happy, healthy, and secure in knowing they're loved. Emma's smile is back. Liam's nightmares stopped. They know beyond any doubt that they're my real children, that they belong, that no one's opinion can change that. And if my mom proves she's genuinely changed, earned her way back into our lives through consistent action and real remorse, then maybe someday she'll get to know the incredible grandchildren she almost missed out on completely. But that's on her to prove, not on me to provide, not on my kids to forgive prematurely. Dylan reached out last week, actually. Sent me a long message about how I'm being too hard on mom, about how family is supposed to forgive, about how I'm holding grudges. I sent back one line. You're absolutely right. Family is supposed to forgive. But first, they're supposed to not tell children they're not real family members. Mom failed step 1. Want to talk about grudges once she completes basic human decency? He didn't respond. Madison broke up with him, apparently. Turns out posting constant vacation photos while your mom is struggling financially isn't a great look. Who knew? Life's funny that way. You spend your whole existence building a house of cards based on image and appearance and money, and one strong wind knocks the whole thing down. My mom's learning that lesson at 62. Dylan's learning it at 32. Better late than never, I guess. Meanwhile, I'm over here with my 2 incredible kids who are teaching me every day what real love looks like. Unconditional, fierce, protective, forgiving when earned, but never at the expense of self-respect. Emma asked me the other day if Grandma was ever going to come back. I told her the truth, that Grandma's working on becoming a better person, and if she succeeds, then maybe one day she'll earn the privilege of being part of our family again. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.